Let's talk about fashion, because this has come up a few times in this month alone on this show. We're seeing, look, apparel retail is a tough business in general, and it is tough for investors to get right for extended periods of time. I feel like in any given 12-month period, any number of stocks have done well, but over, say, a 5-year period, they're trailing the market. When you look at apparel retail, fashion retail right now, what stands out to you?
Well, it's I was reading a story on Bloomberg, and it made me really wonder what's going on right now in the U.S. Retailers, and a lot of them, and fashion retailers are doing okay. They're doing better than they have for some time. In the few years leading up, Europe was kind of helping out those that had significant global operations. And then we had kind of a bifurcated market. Some of the higher end companies were doing well. Think of a Lululemon. While some of the cheaper companies were going crazy and doing well, selling lower end stuff. And this article on Bloomberg was about ASOS, which is a company a lot of people in the U.S. won't have heard of it. You know, they do a $3 billion or something in sales last year.
ASOS?
Yeah, internet clothing, right? I didn't know much about them. UK company, and they issued just a doozy of a "we ain't doing so great" statement last week. And I thought it was really interesting. I thought, oh, there's that Brexit thing hitting the UK. But it turns out that's not really the case. Sales in the UK were all right. It's Germany and the rest of the continent over there that are really hurting them. And so that made me wonder, well, what do we make of this? This company sells kind of low-end cheap clothes on the internet, which it's tough to make money doing that, right? And we saw good results from H&M, which is familiar to shoppers in the U.S. and investors because they do well here. They actually had good sales numbers not long ago. So I'm really wondering where things are going to shake out. Under Armour, right, trying to sell a lot overseas, depending on some European business, still primarily U.S. They're stinking it up lately, and they're kind of premium. Lululemon, the stock's down, but the sales have been going well. They don't do a whole lot in Europe. They're kind of U.S., Canada, and then Asia. So if you are in some of these companies, you probably want to examine what is going on. Pay attention to what's going on with European apparel and European fashion. If you're in something like Guess, you're more exposed to that. How is a company like Decker's going to be doing, in the shoe segment, or one we may be talking about next, Skechers, not to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Spoiler alert. One
of the problems with the ASOS numbers was that there was a big drop in branded shoe sales in the EU. And so this just was kind of an alarm bell for me, because I just had assumed that Europe was continuing to chug along okay. And for a couple of companies right now, clearly it's not.